Okay. Okay, I lost my Zoom for a minute there. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know what happened, but the title is "How did you not know?" We have so many chances and so many opportunities for parents to come in to talk with us about their students and what's going on with teachers. I'm not just talking about me. I'm just talking about teachers in general, and they don't know what's going on with their kids, which is alarming to me. Because I just want to know, how do you not know? How do you not know what's going on with your kids? How do you not know that your kids are not doing well in school? How do you not know that your kids cannot read? I mean, when I've been teaching for 22 years, and when I tell you, it's amazing to me the students that I have, and I taught middle school for 18 years. So this is just not with elementary school. This is with middle school. This is with all of the grades that I've taught. I taught sixth graders who read at a preschool. Sixth graders. I'm talking about kids who are 11 going on 12 that are reading at a 3-year-old level. How do you not know that your child is not reading? Oh, I tell you, because parents are not involved. Okay, yeah, I don't know what's going on, if it's a weather thing or something happening, but I keep losing my connection on my Zoom. So please bear with me. I'm not understanding what's going on, but I'm trying. It looks like it's still going live on YouTube. I'm not sure. I'm looking at the YouTube, but I don't see anything. So I'm not sure what's popping up. I see two people there. I don't see anything. It's not even coming through. I went from 2 to 1. I lost somebody. Um, I hate that, but just come back in if you can. If you're still out there, if you're still listening, just come in. It is being recorded, so hopefully it's not as messed up as it seems for me. But again, I just want to know, how do you not know? We have students who are in school. If you're not paying attention to your kids, if you're paying attention to them, you should know what's going on. And I know everybody want to try to blame the pandemic for kids not learning and kids not knowing how to do this, kids not knowing how to read, and kids not knowing how to write. But the pandemic just shined a light on what was going on with your kids. Zoom is really acting up. Anyway, somebody don't want this message to get out, but I'm gonna do it. The pandemic only shined a light on what was going on in the educational system. It wasn't that teachers weren't doing anything and you just didn't know and you were just bamboozled and, oh, I thought my child was learning. No, it was like that before the pandemic. You just didn't pay attention to it. You just didn't care enough to get in there. Now, granted, there are some parents who care. There are some parents who are actually in the school, some parents who are actually vocal and participating and being there and being active in their kids' school, but not always. They're not always available. But sometimes they are. They are there and they're participating and they still struggle. And I have parents that ask me, I know my child is here and I know my child needs help. Is there what can you do to help me get my child to where they need to be? But some people don't even ask that. Some people don't ask. Some people don't. They just do it. And don't pay attention and don't care. So I'm sorry, I had a call. I got to know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we have to understand that we have to be prepared. And sometimes parents are trying to be prepared. They want to, but they don't know what to do. They don't have a clue as to what to do. I drive for Uber and when I drove for Lyft too. And when I was driving for Lyft, I had a guy in my car and he asked me, he was like, "Oh, you're a teacher, you're a reading teacher." He was like, "Can you help me with my child?" He was like, "She loves animals. It was something she loved. I can't remember. Say it was horses. And she was really interested in horses, but she didn't like to read. I can't get her to read outside of school." And he was like, "Okay." And he asked me, he said, "Well, what can I do?" And I gave him some pointers. I was like, "Well, if she doesn't like to read certain books, buy her some books about the stuff she likes. Buy her some books about horses. Let her read those. Start with some smaller books about horses that will introduce her to horses, and then go in depth and give her more information, and read the books with her and talk about it and discuss it. And that will give her a better feeling and a better love for wanting to read and wanting to be available to read. So we have to understand where our kids are. And sometimes parents don't even know what it is that their kids like. Now, I know my son, when he was growing up, he loved tractors. I don't know what it was. He had this fetish about tractors and John Deere stuff. So what did I do? I bought him stuff about John Deere. I bought him trucks. He had trucks in his room about John Deere. He had books about John Deere. I took him on a field trip. I took him to John Deere so he could actually see the mechanics and all the things that were going on and what they did. And he just loved it. He was also involved in garbage trucks. So I found videos on garbage truck, waste management, and different things of that nature to get him involved, to want to be able to read and do these things. So it was interesting how we have to be engaged in our students at an early age to find out what it is that they want to do and try to help them. But we don't always do it the correct way. We don't know what they want to do because we're too busy working. We're too busy trying to take care of the family. You know, who knows? I don't know. Sometimes we have single parents who just don't have time or just not involved or too busy doing their own thing. They want to do what they want to do and they don't have time for the kids. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what the issue is, but I do know that there's no reason for you not to know what is going on with your child in school. We have, we had meet the parent, meet the teacher night. We had 12 parents come. Out of 45 parents, 45 students, only 12 parents came. So what are you doing to be involved in your child's life? We had parent-teacher conferences. We had signups for that. Out of 45 kids, only 15 signed up to do a conference. And then it's always an excuse. I know we all have something to do, but we did it. We had it. It was, you could either do it virtual, you could do it via a team, do a video. You could have done a phone call. You could have done in person. Either way, gave opportunities for people to be able to come in to see and find out what's going on with their kids, and they don't show up. But you expect the teacher to stop every day and give you a follow-up report on everything that's going on. And the part that I hate is that schools expect you, the administrators expect you to do all of this. You should have a parent call log. You should call your parents once a week, twice a week, give them an update, give them a report, let them know what's going on. We have Dojo, we send messages through that to let parents know what's going on. We have newsletters that we send out weekly to let parents know what's going on, but we still don't have the parents involved in what it is they need to do. But it's always going to fall back on the teacher. Why is it always falling back on the teacher as to what we're not doing? We're in the classroom trying to get your kids where they need to be, but it's kind of hard when I got 22 kids that I'm trying to teach on a grade level, and over half of okay, it's back. I don't know what's going on, y'all. Please bear with me. I hope this is coming out better than it looks. I haven't found it on YouTube again. I don't know. I just lost my YouTube. So I don't know if it's still streaming or if it's there because I don't see anything. It's blank. The host will be right back. I am here. Yeah. It's cutting out, guys. I don't know what's going on, but I am here. We're having some difficulties with technology here. I don't know if it's the weather, if it's a storm coming. I didn't see it, but it will be sent to my Buzzsprout account. So it will go out voice-wise. So hopefully all of that, it'll come back together and you all will get it. But I'm just saying, parents need to do more to help their kids instead of depending on the teachers to do everything, to let them know what's going on. Sometimes we don't get around to it. We do our best. We're in meetings all the time. Literally, we're trying to plan for your kids to make sure we can reach them where they are. And sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's overwhelming. Sometimes it's hard when you're used to teaching one grade level and you have to go back down levels to get stuff to be able to teach somebody. And then it's still not going to be enough because they're so far behind. So we really need parents to step up and read with your kids at home. I told parents last year when I was teaching, I was like, I had the kids write something. And the answers were overwhelming. They were interested. I said, so if you want to know how your child is doing, give them a topic and ask them to write something down for it. Ask them to write something for you. Ask them a question and have them write down their response and see what you get. You will be surprised and amazed that we have kids who can speak, but they can't write it. And then when they speak it, they can verbalize it and they can talk about it, but they can't put it in writing. And that's the frustrating part, is that we're focused on writing now. And we have kids who can't write, who do not know how to put together a sentence, who cannot put a subject and a verb together to make a complete thought. Or they're writing and they just write and write and write and write with no punctuation marks. I was reading something today and I'm like, baby, I need you to take a breath. I'm like, where's the punctuation? Where are we putting punctuation marks? Where are we stopping? Where are we breathing? Because you can't just keep going and going and going without breathing. Okay, there's YouTube is popping up. I don't know what y'all gonna get because this thing has been going in and out and freezing. So I hope it works. But at the same time, I'm trying to teach them how to write, but it's a struggle because they don't understand. And then we have the students who have English as a second language that's really struggling to understand the English language and put that into writing. That's a whole nother animal. That's a whole nother animal. Even in trying to hold a conversation, it's difficult with students who speak a second language if their first language isn't English. Sometimes it is hard to understand what they're saying because of the broken English, but they're trying. They're doing the best that they can. But the thing is when they go home, they're not speaking English. They're speaking their second language. So that's going to take away from them trying to learn what it is they need to learn to be able to adapt or acclimate themselves into the school system. It's going to take longer. And then we have a school system, we don't have the procedures, we don't have the processes set up to adequately assist these students to do what they need to do to get where they need to be. I don't know how many schools I've been at, how many districts I've been in where they've been called on the carpet because their ESL students or their L students weren't getting the services that they needed. Their ESL students they're not getting what they need. They're not getting the hours that they need to be able to go forth and do what it is that they need to do. So we have to be able to help the students in some kind of manner to be able to get them where they need to be. And then, I have people telling me, oh, well, how is this child passing this and how are they getting this grade if this is where they are on here? Well, when you tell me to adapt something and you tell me to modify it, that's what I do. So I adapt it and I modify it so this child can be successful so they don't feel like a failure. And then you want to call me on the carpet about the grade that they get. So what I'm supposed to do, fail them just because you in the system and say they shouldn't be able to do it? But if I break it down for them to a point where they can be successful, then they should be able to get the grade that they got if they were successful in what they did. For instance, I have a student who has a hard time verbalizing what they need to say, but can draw the tail off. So I asked the student, I gave him the assignment and I told them to go draw me a picture of what I was asking them to do. Draw me a picture of what the feeling is that this character is having right now. The book that you read, find how were they feeling? Draw a picture of what you think they were feeling. He came back, the child came back, drew a picture. It was beautiful. And I was like, okay, I said, so what feeling does this represent for the character in your book? And they said, well, he was mad. I was like, okay, well, write mad underneath that because that's what he was feeling. I said, now I need you to go and find something else, another feeling that person was exemplifying as a characteristic that you can infer how they were feeling and draw me another picture. I had him do that 3 times. So because the student couldn't articulate it or write it, okay, so because the student couldn't articulate it or write it the way the other students were, do I not give them a decent grade because the student was able to draw it and get their point across? I think not. They accomplished what I asked them to accomplish, so I gave them a good grade. But you're telling me I can't give them that grade if the system says that they shouldn't be getting those type of grades? That makes no sense to me, because my thing is you allowed them to get this far when they were struggling, but now that I'm giving them avenues to be able to be successful, now I'm wrong? No, if you feel like they shouldn't get these grades, then they shouldn't have been promoted. But we just constantly promote students regardless of where they are, because I'm not understanding how you can have a child in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade that's reading on a 1st, 2nd grade level. And then you tell me, oh, they're in resource, they're special ed, they get special assistance, but someone dropped the ball. Someone dropped the ball. Because if they're in 8th grade, they should not be reading at a 2nd grade level. You mean to tell me in 8 years, you can get that child to read any better than that? So that lets me know that there's something wrong with the system. But parents, where are you? Why do you not know this? Why are you not involved enough in your child's educational process to know that your child is now sitting in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade and only reading at a 2nd grade level? And I'm so tired of parents saying, oh, my kids read, they read all the time. It's not just about reading words, because I have kids now who can't even read sight words. And that used to be the big thing that we had kids doing. You had sight words, you could see those words, the, and, a, they, that, this, them, they. Those were words that they could read. I have students that can't read those words, let alone write them. We're not even going to talk about spelling, because people don't even teach spelling anymore. And that's the sad part. These kids are running around here writing and spelling stuff all incorrectly, and we still passing them on and telling them it's okay. You putting capital letters in the middle of words that you should never put a capital letter in the middle of a word. I have students who still don't capitalize the word I. You should have learned that in kindergarten. How are you in 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade and you don't know that the letter I, when you're speaking of yourself or writing, is supposed to be capitalized? Why do you not know that as a parent? What have you been doing? Have you been looking at your kids' work? Have you been sitting down asking your kids to do anything for you? Make it make sense for me. But you want the teachers to do everything. You want us to be held accountable. I got parents talking about they want 2 weeks of lesson plans so they can keep up with the educational process of their students. If you were really doing that, ever since your child has been in school, your child would be mastering everything. But I'm not seeing that. So y'all stop playing. Stop acting like y'all doing something with your kids at home. Let's keep it real. Let's just be real with it. Let's just be real. Focus on the things that need to be focused on and stop waiting until the last minute to do something. And don't always blame the teacher because your child is not doing what they need to do, because there's only so much we can do in the classroom with 25, 35, 40 minutes here and there. Even with a whole year, 9 months. And we really don't get that when you start talking about assemblies and things being interrupted for other. Yeah. So we don't always have the time that you think we have. The time is very, very little. And even when we stop to do small groups, to pull those kids who need extra help, we only get 20 minutes. It's not a whole lot you can do in 20 minutes with someone who is 2, 3, 4 grade levels below. It's not a whole lot you can do because, for one, they don't comprehend, they don't understand, and it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot more than that. So parents, stop blaming the teachers for everything, especially when they've gotten to the higher grades and you haven't done anything. Stop blaming stuff with educators. Schools, stop blaming it on the pandemic. Pandemic didn't do all of this. The pandemic did not do all of this. This was already there. All the pandemic did was shine the light on it to let you know exactly what it is that you weren't doing. I had a lot of parents that tell me, oh, I thank God for teachers. I thank God for teachers because I couldn't do it. Exactly. You couldn't, and you don't. But they need some extra help when they get home. But then you have those situations where the parents don't know any more than the kids. It's a cycle. We've got to break the cycle. We've got to break the cycle. Things start at home. Education starts at home. It should start before they go to preschool. It should start before they go to kindergarten. But that's the problem. We wait until we want to put the kids in school for them to start learning, and they're already behind. When you're at home and your kids are small and all you talk to them and say is goo goo gaga, ooh, ooh, we, look at that and laugh at everything they do and never correct the wrong stuff, you're setting your child up for failure. When you look at them and just think, oh, they so cute, they ain't got to do nothing, you're setting them up for failure. Because then they come to school and think, oh, I'm so cute, I don't have to do anything, I'm not going to learn, I don't have to do nothing, and they're not going to learn. Now that I'm speaking from experience. I told my students that the other day. I remember going to school, cute, hair done to the T, ponytails all down my back. Didn't try to do anything. Teachers didn't make me do anything. I just went in to be cute. I was cute. I just sat there, was cute. And as I got older, that being cute didn't help because I couldn't read. And they never made me. They just, oh, we'll just go over there. You know, and then the next thing you know, I'm in the SSR class going outside into the little mobile home to get reading. Sitting in a little classroom with 8 kids in a special ed room because I can't read. I'm in the resource class. But you know what? I worked my butt off to get where I need to be able to read and comprehend. Yeah, I could read words just like everybody else. That's why when parents tell me, oh, my kids can read, yeah, but I could read. But I didn't understand what I was reading. I didn't know I had a learning disability. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I just knew I didn't like reading and I wasn't going to do it. And I didn't. But once I found out, yeah, but once I found out what was wrong, I started working harder. My parents helped me. They let me read to them. They asked me questions. And to be real honest, we didn't know what was going on. I didn't find out until I was in college that I was dyslexic. Because I almost failed college algebra because I plotted, I did the math, everything was great, wonderful. Problems step by step, had it all done. But whenever it came time for me to plot something on a graph, I did it backwards. I didn't understand what I was doing. I didn't know it was wrong. I thought I was right until my teacher told me. My teacher asked me, he was like, you know what, come here. I want you to show me how you solve this problem. I did it. The steps were fine. The steps, everything was impeccable. You couldn't question the math. The answer was right. Then he asked me, okay, graph it. Put it on the graph. I'm like, okay. And I graphed it backwards. I flipped everything. But I learned how to work through that. I worked hard to do that. So when people say, oh, you have your doctorate, why we got to call you Dr. Henderson? Because I worked awful hard to get it. Believe me, I worked my butt off to get it. It wasn't easy. But I took initiative and I took responsibility for my own learning at some point in time. And I said I was going to learn. I'm not going to be a problem. I'm not going to be that one that's sitting up not being able to read. No, I don't want to be cute and sitting in the room dumb as all the doorknob. I'm going to know something. I'm going to have some knowledge up here. It's not just going to be about me being cute. Looks fade, knowledge doesn't. So all I'm saying is stop using excuses to keep from helping your child get to where they need to be. That's why they are there so many times, because they're using those excuses, and the kids start to use those excuses and they live by it. Oh, well, I can't do this because I got an IEP. I can't do this because I'm ADHD. I can't do this because I'm this. I can't do this because I'm that. Who told you that? You can do whatever you put your mind to. I'm ADHD, but I know how to work around it. I'm baby, attention span. I don't like sitting still very long. I don't. My kids came in, they wanted to know why my classroom was different because I didn't like the way it looked. I was tired of looking at it that way. I've got to be doing something. I'm always up and moving. So, when I see emails and stuff talking about, oh, teachers, you can't sit down and teach. You got to get up and move around. Baby, I don't sit down and teach. I very seldom sit down and teach. And if I do sit down, it's because either my back hurt or my knees are hurt. And I'm going to sit down because I was in a car accident and I have a herniated disc in my back and 2 in my neck. So if I get tired and my body is hurting, I'm going to sit down. But that's not going to take away from me teaching. That doesn't stop me from being able to teach. So we need to stop putting stipulations on teachers as to what they can and cannot do. A teacher that walks around the room does not necessarily. I could sit down at my desk and be more effective than some of the teachers that's up walking around. I can see everyone in my room from where my desk is. I can see every last one of them. So me sitting down is not going to be a problem. Me getting up and walking around, I'm going to miss something because there's some people behind me that I can't see now. And that's when they start cutting up. So we need to make sense of the things that we're asking people to do. Oh, yeah, I can get up, I can walk around, I can check Johnny over here and little Sally, but then I got little Bobby behind me and little Susie behind me that's cutting up. And then somebody going, oh, look what they're doing. And you turn around, but I didn't do nothing. But if I'm at my seat, I can see all of y'all. And I know who did what. Trust me. So make sure you taking care of your kids, because I got an eye on them. I know what they're doing. I know what they're not doing. And sometimes the talking just gets out of hand, out of control, and they just keep going. I don't mind them talking, but it has to be productive. So we're trying to teach them how to have productive academic conversations to get rid of some of that energy. So you can talk. Talk about what you read. Talk about what you learned in the story. Give them those opportunities to be able to talk. Now, I don't know what's going on with this podcast, so I'm going to stop right here, and I hope it goes through. I hope the recording is okay, where it keeps cutting out and bleeding. I'm not sure because the YouTube page is frozen. But I thank you all for listening. I did lose a listener. I hate that because they were in there, and I don't know, I lost them. All because this little camera, it just went out again. All right, I was trying to do that before it went out, but I thank you all for being here. I appreciate you coming. And until next time, this is your girl, Dr. Yvonne, the teacher that talks, and I'll holler at you later. I'll holler at you later. What's the YouTube still going? Lord help me. Y'all, this technology is tripping on me today. It really is. Oh my goodness. All right, y'all. I'm out for real. I'm out.
Thank you for tuning in. You've enjoyed Teacher Talk Tuesdays. Next time for more incredible stories, struggles, and triumphs.